Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Campbell Talk. Oh, my chair is a little bit high. Okay, here we go. Today we have the uh, today we have I was going to say the one and only. Today we have Miss Denise Brown who will be joining us to discuss HIV and the Caribbean community. As you know, since the year started, we've been doing a couple of different series: HIV in the Black community, HIV and women, HIV and youth. And so, for this month into next month, we're going to be talking about HIV in the Black community. HIV in the Caribbean community. And we also last week discussed HIV in the Haitian community, and the list goes on and on. So we'll continue these conversations because these are important topics for us to be having with each other. So this way we can end the HIV epidemic because we have to save ourselves, y'all. We just have to. And as much as, we sometimes like to pretend like this only happens in a bubble or it only happens to certain people and it doesn't impact me and it doesn't affect me, we are a society of and we have to think about each other and work with each other to ensure that we can eradicate HIV. There isn't any like magic bullet that's going to just take it away, but there are tools that we can use to get to a place where HIV is not a thing that we have to fear or worry about or stigmatize other people about. We have a responsibility to know our status, and we have a responsibility to get tested and have those conversations, and also talk to our young people about protecting themselves, about being sexually responsible, about practicing safer sex. And if part of that safer sex means that it means that they abstain from having sex, then by all means, hell, you can abstain from having sex if you wanted to. So we're going to bring on Miss Denise Brown next, and we're going to be talking about HIV in the Caribbean community. And as you know, we like to keep it here light. It's just conversation. So if you're watching this and you have questions, comments, feedback, go ahead and drop them in our comment sections, and we'll do our best to get it answered on air. We really appreciate you, and stay tuned. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Richard. Good
All
evening,
right.
everyone.
Good evening. Thanks for being on the show tonight. It's going to be fun, interesting, and entertaining, and also loaded with tons of education and tons of fun. And so let's get to know this lady on here. I'm gonna put her in the spotlight and tell us about yourself and tell us where you work and tell us what you do and all of that good stuff.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Denise Brown. A little about me. I love to talk. I love to laugh. I love to entertain. And I'm very proactive. I am a very, when it comes to volunteerism within the community, that's a passion that I have. I'm a people person and I'm an outgoing person. I work with the health department, and my area of expertise is in the STD prevention unit, where we work to control the STD and the spread of STD. I have three grandkids, one daughter, which we love. I love them dearly. And, my area of work, I have a passion when it comes to not just working in STD, but also I work also in HIV for a couple of years. And it's something that, I hold dear to my heart in terms of the work that I do, the people I meet, the people you helped. I also, do case management and different areas of of work ethic. So yes, I do. This is me. I'm real, and I'm hoping that tonight we are able to learn from each other. We're here to engage and interact. So I'm looking forward. If you do have any questions, throw it out. Hopefully that together we can answer to the best of our ability.
Awesome. Thank you for being on the show tonight. Again, I can't say that enough. All right.
Thank you.
So
Thank you for having me, Richard.
I try my best. So you said you've been working in this field. How long have you been working in this field?
Um, it's been working in HIV. It's been like forever. It was like at about age 26, 27. I've been working in HIV, community mobilization, intervention, prevention. I've worked many areas in the health, in the public health field. And in terms of the health department, I started working there in 2017. Apart from that, I've been involved in the care council. I've been on the care council as an, participating part of the committees working to improve the health care of individuals who, struggled with HIV or struggled with other STD health issue. My passion is also to help to make sure that we fight stigma, we fight against discrimination, and we fight against whatever it is that will end with, that will keep back a client from getting into care. So working with the health department in in HIV was a great area that I'd gained a lot of experience, a lot of passion, a lot of work, a lot of support goes into that area, because you're talking about providing services, not just healthcare, but also a lot of services. So I've worked 6 years in it, and then I left and went back into STD prevention, which is more technical, which is more detailed, and which more experience. And I like the area that I'm in right now, because it also opened up my faculties more of understanding that, all what's going on, it's real, and we all gonna have to come together to work to make a difference. And some of the work that I see that we're gonna have to do is a lot of prevention and education in Palm Beach County. A lot of resources that's gonna need to share, so that we can help to, to spread the word, to talk about what's going on in the epidemic of STD slash HIV.
Okay. What do you think it's going to take for us to end the HIV epidemic?
Wow, that's a good question. In my opinion and my belief, based on my past experiences in HIV prevention and community intervention, mobilization is the key. Without that, I don't think we can spread the word or the messages as much as we would like to. Because, for example, a provider seeing a client and, okay, educating them at that moment on STD. Yes, they get the message, but guess what? They go back out there, they got reinfected, they got co-infections, and they come right back again as if they did not know, or they did not hear that, okay, if you practice unsafe sex or unprotected sex, you can get many other STDs. So I think in terms of the education, we're going to have to find a way how we are going to bring it across to the community. So I encourage, providers, community providers who are actually out there who's trying to make a difference and spreading the words to make prevention more effective and education more proactive. I believe that we're going to have to find other strategies. Yes, we do have, education moments, and those are part of what we can do to reach the community, especially within the Caribbean community. We know that, I'm a Caribbean person, and we know that the Caribbean people are very private. We talk about HIV, STD. Nobody want to talk about it. And I think it have to do with the songs that are built up against it to demoralize women, to make individuals feel bad about themselves if they have an STD. So you find that the STD spread because people keep hiding. They are not hearing the truth. They don't know the facts, and they keep on reinfecting and spreading the STD to each other. And, not knowing that they have STDs. That is another thing again. So there's a lot of work that we're going to have to do within the rural communities. Yes, we go to the surface. The surface is aware. But what about the rural areas that we don't want to go in, that we don't want to face? We need to have form of events, find ways in which we can reach this community. Say, for example, Caribbean people love to party. They love to eat. They love to have good times. There are ways that we can interact into those areas to spread the word, to get the message out by just using those platforms. Whatever little platforms we can get to spread these words, we're going to have to do it because the epidemic is real. Syphilis is real. HIV is real. Chlamydia, all these infections out there, they are real. And, ladies and gentlemen, we need to let individuals know that once you're having unprotected sex, and there's a lot of message education that we're going to have to fight to make sure it's out there, that they can get many different STDs one time. And I think because they don't know that facts, they are getting reinfected. We don't want to talk about condom use. We don't want to show them how to use a condom. We don't want to talk about sex. Sex is real. So we're going to start to have this conversation, this engagement conversation by start hosting different events within local areas. The church is also another place that we need to start working with. We need to start going in the church, talk to the pastor, find a way how we can work to bring in the education in the church. Yes, they might say, oh, I'm a Christian, I don't do this, I don't do that. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. It's real. STD HIV is real. It is prevalent. It's rising. And it's rising because we don't talk. It's rising in the Caribbean because we are afraid as individual to say sex, but we are having sex.
Of course.
And it is a part of life, right?
Of course. Where else are all those little baby Christians coming from?
And we say, oh, in that moment, you might be using a condom, but then in that moment you lost that ability to stay strong. And the minute you pull that condom off, you do not know what STD that person is carrying. And I think we as a Caribbean, our individual and a whole, we have to start be more, I would use the word, we need to be more act up in what we are doing. Act up. Let our children know the facts. I've seen so many 14-year-olds, so many 15-year-olds, and they don't want their parents to know that they're sexually active, but they are. So I think we, Richardo, as parent, as aunt, sister, uncle, brother, gonna have to start talk about it without being uncomfortable. Target the Parent Teachers Association by speaking to principal. Let them know it's real. How can we come together, bring mothers together? We don't want the kids to hear, fine, but bring the mothers together and educate them and and the awareness of STD, and letting them know their kids, it's okay to talk to their kids about STD or having sex. But mothers are afraid. Why? I guess based on your culture, based on how we grow up in life, based on how we stigmatize at a certain age, at a certain level. We are uncomfortable because we don't talk about sex. We as the older persons too. We feel ashamed just to talk about sex. But guess what? You can put a screen out on the street then. Okay, put it in a park and just show some STD education. People will watch, people will listen, people will learn, and people will act.
I have a question in the chat. Um, it says, where is it? Are there any human rights laws that protect the rights of individuals living with HIV?
Yes, there are laws. You have the human rights law, you have and when we talk about laws, we know we have the HIPAA law, that protect the rights. But yes, we know that sometimes it is not protected based on the providers or the environment of services or the people who are serving. But yes, we do have human rights. Yes, we can report if there is any violation against persons who are HIV positive, who felt like their privacy have been invaded. Yes, they can, find a way to report it to legal aid. Um, find out your rights where that is concerned. Because yes, there are, it does protect
I
you.
guess that's also like on one level though. So it's kind of like out and about in the community. If someone discriminates against you because you have HIV, I mean, I guess there isn't really any protection there.
Well, if they're slandering you without any proof, because sometimes people hear something, they don't have no proof, and they started spreading it around in a way that it affect your life. Yes, you can find out about what's your rights, because I think there is law, for slandering. But at the end of the day, also, we the individual, or you the individual, have to have proof that it actually happened, because that's the only way you can fight back. But there are human rights lawyers out there that can take up that case. I know it's not easy, because again, we have to have that evidence, that facts, that that individual is actually doing it, and we
And
have some form of tape or something to. But human rights are, it's not, you know we might feel like there isn't, based on some people
well,
might have some past experiences.
or the fact that some of these state laws are just criminalizing people living with HIV. And
Well,
so, but
mhm.
some of these state laws criminalize people living with HIV. And I think a lot of that is aimed at kind of like, I guess they thought it's a way of ending or stopping people from spreading HIV. But in actuality, it doesn't really do anything, right? Because, even if somebody says, all right, I knowingly have, like for example, one of the laws in Florida that if you know that you're HIV positive and have sex with someone who's living, and then you give them HIV, or even if they're exposed to HIV, that you can actually go to jail and all this other stuff. So what happened is that people can be penalized more often than not for having sex and not even telling their partners that they have HIV. But a huge part of that too is that there isn't a lot of protection really per se for people living with HIV to protect them from saying slander and all these other things. But it can happen. It's just that it's a lot more challenging and a lot more difficult. But I
Yes,
know the what's it called? Equal Rights or Equality Florida.
equality Florida.
They have been working at trying to revise, trying to change some of these laws. So I know here locally in the United States that each state is a little bit different.
Hmm.
But when we're talking about like countries in the Caribbean or in Central and South America, um,
Yes.
that also can be challenging because it goes by country to country. And so with a lot of the stigma and discrimination around HIV, sometimes even that plays a part in how fair the system will be,
Hmm.
or not, depending on the level of knowledge and the level of fear and stigma and discrimination that happens.
Hmm. And Richard, it boils right back down to education. it boils right back down to education, because these law that are implemented, most of these lawyers, they do not have that education awareness. So for us, or say for example, persons who are, who are positive can, that human rights, they can take it up by saying, okay, you know what, let's start a campaign to educate these lawyers. Let's educate these you would say, like the law enforce, because even with the law enforcement of the law, if they don't know it, they're gonna act on it. You see what I'm saying? They're gonna go off of what they are taught. But if the group of persons who are positive can go in and have that engagement, that discussion with them, the food of thought can also change a lot of things, can change a lot of policies. Because when you talk about human rights and being arrested if you don't tell the person of the partner, again, how does the judge know if the other person is positive or not? No
or
one knows
if you-
where
or if
it's coming
or,
from.
or if people are not being tested, right? So
Exactly.
if you go get tested, and this is why everyone should get an HIV test and know their status, right? Because if you go get tested in January and start dating somebody in February, and then you find out 3 months later that you have HIV, there's a pretty good chance that you know who you got it from. If you've been consistently testing and consistently have had negative HIV tests, and if that's like your only partner that you've had sex with, and you're not sharing needles, and you're, like, and the list goes on, right? And then you can say, okay, fine, like, I know in my heart of heart. But if you are not getting tested, you're not using condoms, you're having multiple partners, you're you know there might be some questionable nights when you are probably, you know out of it or something like that.
Exactly.
That
Mhm.
all of that plays a part
Oh
in.
yes.
So it's important for you to get tested, for you to know your status, for you to
Mhm.
know what's going on with you. Everyone's status is their own status. And I
Exactly.
hear people also, this is something, I'll let me just jump to Michelle's thing first before we.
Yes, I've been looking at Michelle, that there is none in Trinidad. That's true, but Michelle, there is an organization in Trinidad named CRN Plus, which was implemented in as I also was one of the founders with it, that started that network where they looked at different areas to try to make a difference within the Caribbean, to help individuals from different aspects of the Caribbean to fight back. And also they implement different outlets of the CRN in different area of the Caribbean. And I know that one of the things that they've been working on and trying to fight is human rights. I have not been in touch with them in a while, but I don't, I would have to look on their website to see how far they are. And I know they did started a human rights campaign. So if you would like to research more, reach out to them to see what they have been are implement in Trinidad or within the Caribbean, because they are doing it for the overall of the Caribbean, which is CRN Plus, Caribbean Regional Network of Persons Living with HIV and AIDS. So see if you can look them up and speak with someone there in Trinidad at that office to see what they are doing. But I know the last time I looked on the website, they were working on the human rights for individuals within the Caribbean.
Okay. There was another question. Sorry, I was trying to pull up the link so this way I can find it. Caribbean Regional Network for people living with HIV, right?
Hmm.
All righty. Copy this.
So they have been
All
doing
right.
a lot of work.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try to throw this up in the. Okay, I was trying to get this link. Why is it not doing it? My computer is acting a little slow today, y'all. Ooh, okay. Uh, Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Um, Michelle had another question in there. Um, is PrEP and PEP being used in the Caribbean?
Being honest, I don't, I've not been involved as much as I used to be in the Caribbean, but I know PrEP is strongly being used, and I know the Jamaica Stereopositive group also, I will try to reach out to them to see how well they've been working. But I know, like, from the health department aspect, the Ministry of Health aspect of it, they've been promoting a lot of PrEP to, individual. But you also have to remember the attitude and the mindset of us Caribbean people is like, oh, I'm not gonna take PrEP because I don't want anyone to think that I'm HIV positive. And that is exactly what's coming out of their mouth. They're not thinking about the fact that it is going to prevent them from getting HIV, but they can also have a perfect sexual lifestyle, even though you still have to think of other STDs. They're not thinking like that. They're just thinking that, okay, I don't want anyone to know that I'm going to be taking PrEP. So the reaction of the Caribbean people, I really don't know what their attitude or their mindset is, but I can speak for my country individuals where they don't want individuals to have a say about them, because again, the music is going to lick on it. The embarrassment, the stigma, the discrimination, the attitude and the behavior is something that you don't want to deal with as an individual, because you're going to have your own, you have your own issues to deal with. A person can be having cancer, they can, diabetes, hypertension. You have all these problems to deal with to survive. And then being HIV positive and having someone, trying to protect yourself from, getting HIV, and it's being a mockery, then, people are going to shun away from it in the Caribbean. Because here in United States, it's not easy also to encourage someone to take PrEP, because number one, if you're going to encourage people to take PrEP, you're going to have to also encourage them that there are other STDs out there that they can, because I've seen persons take PrEP and still coming in the clinic for syphilis, for gonorrhea, for chlamydia infections also. So again, when we talk about PrEP, we have to look at the pro, the cons, and when we are educating each other, we have to reinforce that even though you are protected one way, you are still in danger the other way. And we have to be real, because I believe because we are not real, people are getting infected. But if we are saying, look, PrEP is there to prevent this infection or this virus, but it's not there to prevent syphilis. Because once you have the blood, you have syphilis in the blood, you can be treated, but you're always going to be tested positive for syphilis. And it's the same thing like HIV. You are undetectable, but you are undetectable. But each time because the virus is there, it's going to always say, oh, it's there. Even when it's not there, it's gonna say yes, it's there, because it's a virus. It may not be acting up, but it's just the same thing with syphilis. So we have to be proactive in our education in terms of ending the epidemic. With EHE, we have a lot of work to do, and we have to be real. For me, I'm real. I'm not gonna go out there and polish it, because we are all adults. We are all adults, and we all need to hear the truth and the facts that there is more than one STDs, and you're going to get it if you're not preventing yourself from getting it. PrEP, I would encourage others to be on PrEP, but again, we have to also look at the cost for PrEP. We have to look at how many persons, health issues
Mm-hmm.
going on PrEP. So we can't just be chucking these things down, but we have to analyze the individual's health aspect in encouraging them to PrEP. So I encourage promotion of condom. Can't beat the condom. You just need to know how to use it, how to put it on, and how to be in that romantic passion that condom can work and you don't feel any way. Instead of saying it's you're allergic to it, well, we start making condom with the powder. So now you have so many condoms with that lube that you can enjoy flavor, you can enjoy everything there is to it. So I believe that a lot of things are happening based on we as individual, how we send the message, who we talk to, where we talk, and how we talk. And I think we have a lot of work to do in the Caribbean also as individuals who live here, and as Caribbean people who live here in America, who live here in Palm Beach County.
That
We
is
have a
true. As a community, Now I know that Michelle also said, I'm in communication with an NGO and they need a lot of help. CRN is not doing anything at the
lot.
moment. I spoke with them weekly to at ComTalk.
Okay.
So um, I was gonna say Midway. Midway Specialty Care Centers, but they're in are they in, they're in
No,
Guyana.
they are in yes, they are now in Trinidad, and
They're
they're
in
in Guyana. Yeah, they just opened. um I believe they're in Trinidad, if I'm not lying, but I know they're in Guyana. But not sure. I'm sorry that CRN is not really doing anything at the moment, Michelle. But maybe we, as Caribbean persons, we can start to look in how can we be, help them. What are some of their downfalls? Why they are not proactive as they used to be? Because back then there was no Caribbean help. And we, the CRN, were the ones who came in and make a difference with medication, make a difference where people, individuals will come out and be strong and aware of what's going on, and we're able to go back to their country and do a lot of work in there. For now, whatever is going on, I think maybe funding, but maybe we can find a way as Caribbean individual who are here in the US and have the resources, or we are able to get resources, can find a way, how can we tap into CRN Plus to make it, be back what it used to be. She said, I'm working and putting together some doctors in Trinidad. Michelle, I would love to join you. If you are hearing me, I would love to join you where that is concerned. So we can find a way, or we can, advocate back and have that access to treatment, because they were very good at having access to treatment within the Caribbean. And as I said, we don't know, I don't know what's going on. I have not been in touch with them for a while, a good while since we implement the network. I've seen the site goes up and down. Yolanda Simon, I don't know if she was the head. I don't know if she's still active in it. I would like to meet with you after the show. Richard, I would put my contact in it. So, as Caribbean people, we can try to see what we can do to make the change or to help, or if we can bring other, resources there to help to make a difference, then yes, we got to, we have the global network, and then we have ICW, which were proactive with them. So again, we don't know if the leader is not alive, or we don't know. So, I like what you're saying, is putting together those doctors, and I would like to be a part of that.
Okay. And also it's I also put in the chat Midway Specialty Care Center. I believe on their website they do have, I know for sure that they do have an organizational component in Guyana.
Yeah,
So
that's the
it it's I know that they're probably expanding across the Caribbean as well.
yes,
So it is possible that they might be a good resource to connect with in order to either um, help with finding support
for CRN, yeah,
or engaging with around services. And they do have providers who are already
there. Mhm.
who are already on the ground in
Doctor,
Guyana.
yeah, Doctor.
Rangapal.
Rampal is the lead for all the midways. He's from Guyana. So, if you're listening, Michelle, he's somebody I think that we can try to have a meeting with him to see how we could help but the Caribbean network get back, because they have done they
Actually,
have done a lot in the Caribbean for the Caribbean people. They have done a lot for all Caribbean across the regions. They have opened up their horizon. They fight against stigma and discrimination. They help them to come out of their shells. They gave them opportunities to shine. They gave them opportunity to say, I'm alive. They gave them opportunity to say, you know what, I'm not alone, and I'm gonna fight until I die. And it gave them opportunity to help others. Um, there were teams from different parts. Yes, yes, they do. Oh, Richard, save that for me.
okay.
Okay, so
All right, so we're gonna take a quick pause here because part of our show is to educate as people are watching, and so absolutely we're gonna definitely all have to connect and kind of like go from there.
yes,
So, and Michelle, I would really love to have you on the show.
yes, yes,
um,
yes,
HIV stands for, if you're just tuning in,
yes,
and we are busy talking about HIV in the Caribbean community, and we know Caribbean community is very large, and
yes,
and we spread out and we mash up and we do all kind of thing, and so it's important that we not only just know the facts for ourselves but know the facts so we can educate our fellow Caribbean person to help them to protect themselves and their families and their loved ones and their partners.
sure.
And so this is where we pause to kind of like um I can hear you, girl. Okay, so this is where we pause, where we can talk about that. So, HIV stands for Human Immunodeficiency Virus. HIV is a virus that is transmitted, that is
Sex.
acquired sexually through sharing needles or from mother to child through like breast milk. Um, you cannot, let's talk about this HIV stigma now. You cannot get HIV from hugging someone, from kissing someone, from sharing the same bathroom, the same toilet, using the same utensils. And to all my Caribbean people, stop bleaching down the showers, bro. don't don't wait till your loved one step out of the shower and you're like we got to stop that.
Those days are over.
Stop that. It's not that serious.
Yeah, not
Honestly,
anymore.
you're gonna get HIV if someone who's living with HIV uses the same shower. You understand? It, you just can't. You can't get it from tears. You can't get it from eating from the same forks or knives or spoons or plate or cups. That's not how HIV is. That's not how HIV is spread. Okay? HIV is spread through unprotected sexual contact from one person to another person who is living with HIV. Also from mother to child, and also through sharing needles. To protect yourself, no HIV, not only from HIV but from STDs, it is also important for you to use condoms, for you to make sure that you get tested and your partners get tested,
Mhm.
because that is how you will know
Your status.
your status. That is how you will know what's going on with you. And I hear Caribbean men, all my Caribbean men listen well, because I hear not some of you, I should say, not all of you, but I hear some of you say, "Oh, well, if my girl has something, I will know. I will know if I have something."
No.
Your girl, your wife, your boo, your wifey, whoever she is to you, or whoever your partner is to you, I should say, um, their status is not your status.
No. Hmm.
Their status is not your status. If you didn't go into the clinic and get an HIV test, you don't know what your status is.
Yes.
It's not because somebody has something, it means that you're automatically going to get it. You understand? There are people who can live with HIV for up to 10 years and not know that they have HIV if they've never been tested.
Are sick or get
or
sick.
get sick. And
Mhm.
so it's important for you to know if at least once a year, at least once a year. But I like to say, if you have your American wife and your Caribbean wife,
Mhm.
you still need to get tested, bro.
Mhm.
Stop one.
Mhm.
And the reason why I'm speaking to the men is because a lot of times we try to tell the woman that they need to have condoms and they need to do this and they need to do that and they need to do that, when the men are the ones who decide when the sex happens.
Mhm.
Men are the ones who decide whether or not a condom is used or not. The men are
Mhm.
the ones who decide how it goes down. So if
Mhm.
you're going to decide how it goes down, protect the woman that you're with.
And
Es-
you love.
and especially
If you
if
love that person.
you love her and you care about her,
Mhm.
and especially if you want to protect her, and you want protect her health.
Yeah.
It's important, and you can do that. You have the power to do that, because Caribbean men just do this thing, right, where they just say, "Want another room and take off your clothes," or something.
It,
Men
and
are
it's
not like that, but whatever. But the whole idea is that you need to take an active role in
mm,
protecting yourself from HIV and STDs, and protecting your partners from HIV and STDs. And you have to do that. In a lot of heterosexual relationship, it's oftentimes
yes,
the men who
yes.
decide when they're going to have sex, when they're not going to have sex, that kind of stuff. And for it's important for those conversations to happen.
Oh
Have
yes. Oh
conversation,
yes.
talk, go get tested, go know your status, and do what is necessary to protect you. If you're having multiple partners, get PrEP. It's the
Mm-hmm.
one pill a
Yeah.
day that prevents. PrEP stands for pre-exposure prophylaxis.
Watson.
It's literally like the birth control of HIV. You take it every day to prevent HIV. And basically, even though you're taking PrEP, you still need to wear condoms.
STDs.
You still need to wear condoms. If
Mm-hmm.
you and your partner decides that you are going to be monogamous, and
Mm-hmm.
that words these days have plenty of meanings.
Mm-hmm.
You decide that I'm only having sex with you, you only having sex with me, and that's it, then you need to do what's important to your relationship, or what's important to your sexual relationship at least, to make sure that you protect that, you protect each other. So this way you're not just co-infected or reinfecting each other with something. So it's very much important for that to happen.
And Richard, we have to remind the Caribbean community that heterosexual are the highest rate right now in Palm Beach County with HIV, and it's just because they don't believe in condom use. It's just because they decided, Caribbean men decide that, what, I can't stay with one burner. I have to have chicken and meat and pork without a protection. And this is real. This is real talk.
Yeah.
And you know because you don't know, you are ignorant. When it comes to statistics, and when it comes to the Palm Beach County, you know it might have 2 million people, but remember, we are floating around each other. Sometimes you are in a relationship with someone you don't know anything about. You don't know where they're coming from. You don't know their status. And because we don't know, we tend to what? We play the game. And when playing the game, we are increasing. And it's not just heterosexual too. Persons, when you reach 50, you feel like you're young again. But I want to tell you, working in this field, it's increasing. STD is increasing with the aging population. Yes, you
Mhm.
can feel young. Viagra might give you the vibes, but you also have to remember to respect yourself, to respect the one you care about. And women in general, men in general, sometimes we do have relationship problem, and we step out and get what happened. We end up with the virus or an STD, and we bring it back in the house. And then it's hard for a woman to come and say to you, oh, you gave me chlamydia, which is one of the most commonest STD among women and men. Common, very common. And if a woman come in and said, oh, you give me an STD, you might end up want to fight her, want to leave her and say, oh, you are the nasty one and stuff like that. But you're not remembering that you have unprotected sex with another woman that you don't know anything about, who might be carrying that infection. And remember, HIV transmit based on bruises, blood, penetrate. We love talk about rough sex and stuff like that. But those are ways in which you can get hurt. A woman, you can transmit the virus. I encourage women, Caribbean women, to go and have a pap smear. I encourage you, women, go have a pap smear. One of the rules of pap smear now is your OBGYN supposed to tell you that they're going to do an HIV test on you, because that's also mandatory now under the OBGYN. They have to do that on you. So please, women, I encourage you. If you go to do a pap smear, you will know what is happening to your body. You will know that there is an infection that you got carrying not knowing, because you can't tell, like you're the reservoir. Remember, men enter, they leave that fluid there. You have to deal with it by carrying it. The odors, you got any smell, center odor, anything, please don't take it lightly. Go to the doctor. Men, if you see a little sore on the penis, a little bruise on the head, we talk about prevention, STD prevention, HIV. Go to the doctor. Don't take it slightly. Just say, you know what, there was a bruise there, or there was a sore there, and the sore went back in, and I take it for granted. No, do not take it for granted. Do not. Go to the doctor. Let them do a blood work on you. And maybe you might be carrying syphilis, because you cannot tell how long you've been carrying it. But remember, the stages of it is the repercussion of it. You might start having joint pain. You might start losing your vision. Not only that, you can also end up with HIV and other STDs. You can carry 4 or 5 STDs one time. So women, men, if you see these signs and symptoms, please see your doctor. Please do not take it lightly. Please request a blood work. Please request an examination. And Richard, you talk about ending the epidemic. This is what we need to speak about, in ending the epidemic, in making changes, and for people in reality to prioritize and to make sure they look where health is concerned. They take their clinic is there. It's free. I know many people do not like the health department, but you can go there, walk into the clinic, say you come for a sexual health STD checkup. They're going to check you right through. You get that test, you get out. When time comes, someone will call you if you are exposed. You can even call back to find out what's my result, and you take it from there. But remember, the clinic is free. Men, you're all hearing me at my voice. Please, and I asked, when you're having sex, just remember, you're going back to your wife. You're going back to your girlfriend. Don't bring it back to them.
Absolutely.
Don't.
Absolutely. And remember saying that, for long I'll wait for nobody if you call you, and tell you, see if you get the HIV test, you can get up on that for yourself.
Campbell's Health. Campbell's Health so clinic is there on Palm Beach Lake that you can walk in. It's a private facility. It's very private.
Of course.
Very private. A lot of us do not, as Caribbean people, have pride, and we're shameful. So go to the private providers. Go to your OBGYN.
And
men.
And understand.
Tested men. You don't want no men to look at you. You don't want them to look at what's wrong. You were born naked. Your parents see you naked. What's wrong as an adult to go in and get checked up? Because you're spreading. Listen, syphilis is on the rise. Oral sex, again, herpes is on the rise, and it's on the rise based on the sexual part of it. We know that the outer part is the virus, that you stress and so can bring it out. But when you talk about the sexual part of it, you have it on your mouth, you can spread it.
But not only that, remember, anything below the waist can be transmitted. So chlamydia and gonorrhea, you can get that in your throat.
Yes.
And
so a lot of those activities are out there. So we have to make sure that we protect each other and educate ourselves and educate others and be real. Share information with others too. You see someone doing, you don't disgrace the person. You heard something about the person, don't disgrace them. Because we Caribbean people, we love to put them down and we love to disgrace people and we love to feel like we are better than each other, or we can't have that STD, oh, but that person had it. And because of that, a lot of people are dying because of stigma, discrimination against each other, and humiliation. you know and I think it's time for us as individuals, as Caribbean people, to, start to help each other, focus on each other, and stop this and, spreading rumors. Rumors is not nice and individual, and it costs a lot of death, costs a lot of killing.
But I love what you say, and I think that's a valid point. Stigma is killing people every day.
Yes,
Because of stigma, people are refusing to take their medication.
yes.
People are hiding to take their medication. Because of stigma, people don't want to openly talk about their
Mhm,
status. Because of stigma, people don't go into certain places,
mhm.
or even sometimes miss their medical visits
Yes.
because they don't want somebody to see them there. And even though the people may not even know why they're there,
Thank you.
there's this assumption that if somebody see me walk into this clinic, they're
True.
going to assume that
Yeah.
I have something, or they're going to make an assumption. And
Yes.
your health is not worth other people's assumption.
Mhm,
You have to prioritize your health, get
mhm,
tested, know your status. If you're HIV negative, learn about PrEP, learn about ways that you can continue to stay HIV negative. If
mhm,
you are HIV positive, then learn about how you can get into care, how you can live healthier longer, and how you can stay healthier and stronger, especially if you have family as friends,
yes.
people who love and care about you.
Mhm,
Want
mhm,
to do that. You
mhm,
want to do everything. You don't have to be alone. You don't have
mhm,
to be isolated. You don't have to lock yourself away from the world.
mhm,
Continue to thrive. Continue to be amazing. Continue to be you in the fullest being of
mhm,
you, whatever that is.
mhm,
Just
mhm.
there
Stay.
isn't any reason why in 2023 people should be dying because they're not taking their medication, because they're refusing to go to
Same.
the doctor. It isn't. It shouldn't.
It's sad. It's true. It's sad, but it's true. It's sad to say, but we are, and I think that, again, we talk about education. We talk about education. We have to keep educating. We have to let them know that there are services that are available for them. If they do not have any insurance, their insurance can be provided for them. There are resources out there that they can have access to. There are, many, many things that they can achieve only if they find the right persons to talk to. They don't have to mention anything to any and anyone because that's their personal business. But just find the resources. Find the resources, find where they are, speak to someone there, and you will get help. Don't be ashamed, don't be afraid. And the thing with HIV is, once you are undetected, you cannot spread it, and you cannot transmit it. And again, we have reached too far in life to not know. Knowledge is power, as someone typed, and it is the key to make changes in our life. So as we move forward and as we continue to make changes in Palm Beach County, Richardo,
Mhm.
we need to let others know. As someone talk about you equal you. Yes, I've tried during my education, as CBA organization. One of the things that we do as a CBA CEO for CBA, we
Thank
try
you for
to
thank you for wait, hold on. Thank you for transitioning there because
Yes. We try to educate. Our role and as community building advocate is to educate, to bring the resources out of the community together so that each and everyone, whether you're a provider, case manager, community partners, We come together so that each one can learn, each one can know who has the resources. So you don't have to rely on your friends outside, because sometimes they do give you wrong info. And then by the time you ask them something, they go back and tell a friend, so, Richard, they come and ask me this. I wonder what's going on. And it become a debate. So we need to educate more on what is happening. You equal you is out there. And I don't think we are pushing a lot on it. But in order to end the epidemic, we're going to have to change the way we are educating and not being afraid to speak, to engage individuals into conversations. If they like to talk about sexuality, talk about sexuality, but pitch into sexuality, the pro, the cons of STD, the pro, the cons, you equal you, and the pro and the cons that people don't die anymore. People live, people continue with their life, people live happy, have children.
Yeah.
They have children.
Mm? No fit.
Children, enough children too. And everyone is negative. So, we have a lot to talk about, Richardo, in the community of the
And
Caribbean,
actually, and that's an important part that you just mentioned too. If you are a woman, a cisgender woman living with HIV, and you are pregnant, or if you are a person who can give birth, then you want to make sure that you get prenatal care, because
Yes.
if you're living with HIV, then you want to make sure that you're getting the proper treatment. This way, your baby wouldn't have to be born with HIV. So those are all important things to consider and to learn
Yes.
about, and it is very important, especially as you're folks are getting married, folks are having kids, folks are
Mhm.
doing going about living their life. And so clearly, we're not about telling you to stop having sex. We're
No,
not going to tell you not to stop having sex.
it's fun.
If
Sex
that's
is
if
fun.
that's what
It's
you do,
real.
but
It's
understand that you still also have the option of abstinence. So if you decide that you want to be abstinent, and that's it. I mean, that's fine. Waiting for Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, that's totally fine. Or if it's if you're just want to do the solo plan, and it's just you and your toys and your that's totally
that's
fine
cool.
too. But whatever you do, make sure that you are doing it safely and that you are protecting yourself. So if you're going to share your toys, make sure you're putting condoms on them.
Yes.
Make sure you're cleaning them properly.
Mhm.
If you are going to have sex, make sure get your partners tested. Getting tested together is a cute first date.
Mhm. Yes, and one other thing I've learned when I started prevention in Jamaica is, before you have sex, it's good to take showers, because your sweat, the bacteria. Women, we talk. Women are delicate. We talk about bacteria. We talk about transmission. So it's good that you take a shower before, when you come in, and before start having sex. And shower is important, because then you have that clean body odor. That sweat you sweat all day is washed off. There's no bacteria, dirt or stuff that you're gonna transmit to the woman. So that's something that I encourage women to make sure that they take a shower, and men, with the men, and have clean sex. That's also part of clean sex.
Well, some people do like it a little.
If you're having sex or someone is having sex with you. Yes,
Right.
yes,
Exactly.
yes. And it's nice when we can speak like this as Caribbean individuals, when we can engage in conversations like this, because it helps women to look, we women and men to look in ourselves and
I'm
realize that,
laughing because Colleen said, "Ew." Okay. I'm. So,
yeah, it's good.
so
I appreciate we
while we're laughing, and before we jump to another serious thing, because we have to get ready to wrap up soon.
yes.
Um, what's the one burner?
Oh, one, like you have you. All right, so in a Jamaican language is men cheat a lot, and we know men cheat a lot. So
Some men.
some men. Well, listen to me. The majority men do cheat. You do have the good, the bad, and the ugly. Don't get me wrong, but majority men cheat. However you might think of it, they do cheat. And you know, we might say, "Oh, the Christians don't." When you work in the field, you understand what's going on. But the one burner, you have some men who have their wife that they say they love and they adore, but yet they go out there and cheat because for her it's a one burner. He's only burning that one burner for many years. So he feel like, oh my God, I can't handle that meat and that chicken anymore. I have to move from chicken to pork or pork to beef. And that's when they do get caught because they cannot satisfy with the chicken because it become gliding. It's too much, too long. So they glide. So they change. So now they want changes. So now they want change, they're gonna move to a second one, which not gonna be chicken because they're tired of the chicken. So they're gonna move to the beef. But then the beef, they don't know about the beef, but they just want beef. If it's even one time to try beef, to see how beef tastes, they are going to, and that one time can get them into trouble. And we have to have this conversation as Caribbean women and men because we know it's a facts. One burner, when I, growing up, they used to say, oh, one burner don't work anymore because when that one burner store break down, what do? You fix it, right? Meaning, if you have a relationship and it's breaking up, find ways and means to put it back together so that it can blaze again, right, ladies and gentlemen? But no, some men do not want that. Chicken no work. That the one burner stove can't work. They're gonna have to get a two burner because the two burner move faster and it works better for them. Okay, so they can switch from one to the other, switch from one stove to the other stove, one stove to the other. So and that is causing a lot of STDs out there, and we all don't know that it is. It once can cause a problem. You try to touch the beef, can cause you a problem. Try to touch the pork, it can cause you a problem. If the chicken have a problem, change the flavor of the chicken. But you don't have to leave the chicken, forget about the chicken. Just change the flavor. And it's all about sexuality.
This is a whole different set of cooking class. The chicken, the beef, and the pork. One burner, two burner. I've never heard that one burner, two burner thing, but thank you for the education. See,
Yes.
we're always learning.
Yes.
Just when you think that you know, and I know a lot of people out there saying, I know this, I know this, I know this. Just when you think you know everything, you
Yeah.
got to keep learning it again and again and again and again and again because we're always growing and evolving.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you, Miss Brown,
Thank you for
for
having me.
being on here and for educating us tonight. And we will have you back on the show.
Thank you for having me.
and
One burner thing new to me.
and also we want to thank Michelle Lopez and
Thank you, Chef.
Celine Williams for. I want to give you a special shout out for being on tonight.
Yeah.
Um, and just chiming in and is really great. Thank you, Michelle, for sharing. And
Thank you.
last comment Michelle had here. Michelle said, "My daughter was born with HIV. She did not seroconvert. She has a wonderful son who is HIV negative.
Woo!
He is 7 years old and healthy. She will be 33 in June."
Go, girl.
That is
That's
amazing.
amazing. And that's what we have to let women know. Life goes on, no matter what. Life goes.
Absolutely.
Michelle, my number, Richard, could put
Uh,
my number in the chat
I just yeah, I can put it in here if
and
you
my
want.
email. Please get in touch with us. We all can work together. And I hope we all have learned and educate each other. I have learned a lot. What is seroconvert? Who wrote that?
Miss
Mi-
Williams.
Michelle could explain the stereoconvert is having without stereoconvert.
So that's when one person who converts from one status to the next status. So convert from like, um, was it from being like HIV negative to HIV positive due to an exposure. And so in this case, um, the baby was born and did not seroconvert, is what I think happened.
Did not have the virus,
Right. Or no, she seroconverted. I'm trying to find it. Oh, oh, she did not seroconvert.
meaning she didn't take meds.
No, she said her. She said my daughter was born with HIV. She did not seroconvert, meaning that she didn't, because when the baby is born, the baby still has the mother's immune system.
Right.
And usually, when they shed the mother's immune system, then they develop their own. And in
Oh,
that transition, um, she should have seroconverted to a negative status, but she didn't. So
I think she said she's negative.
no, her son is negative, who's 7 years old.
Oh, but she Michelle wasn't.
Right.
Okay.
And her daughter wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you guys for tuning in. This is really wonderful. It is complex, but we try to break it down and make it fun and make it engaging. And we just have to keep talking and keep learning and keep sharing together. So if you know someone who should be watching this, we please, we're asking you to share this on your social media platforms. Tag somebody, tell them to take a look, like and share, and all that good stuff. And we really appreciate you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you again. And I text you Michelle's email address for you to reach out to her. If you guys have any questions or comments, if you want to ask us anything, numbers on the screen. Get your free HIV test today, 561-208-6595, or you can visit our website at www.campbellhealth.org. Also, we do have condoms by mail program. So if you go to our website, you can sign up for our condoms by mail program, and we'll mail you out a month's supply. So this way you can stay protected, stay negative, all that good stuff. If you are a person living with HIV, continue to stay healthy and live a healthy and strong life. So we really appreciate you, Miss Brown, for being here.
Thank you for having me. I have fun.
And thank you guys for being so great, for being participating, and we thoroughly enjoyed you on here.
Thank you.